guest here today.
Hello, my name is Ryleigh.
It is our oldest, Ryleigh, and she has been so sweet to say she would join me today because today's topic is one that call them the dudes, the guys, they're usually not so much into.
But if you are a dude and you're into it, it's totally normal.
Yeah, more power to you. We would love to get we just haven't been able to get our guys in our house on board. But anybody in your family can do this activity, and that's making dream boards. So here in just a minute, we're going to talk all about dream boards. You might call them vision boards, so stay tuned. All right, so I'm very shocked. This is my first official podcast without your dad.
Are you serious?
Yes, and he usually is the one that's super professional and keeps us flowing. So
hey, we're off read today.
He's probably in the other room, just with a cup, like they used to do the detectives with his ear.
He don't need a cup. We're loud.
That is true. I am pretty loud. He's like, "Oh my gosh, stay on task, Scarlett." But I got the full reins today, and today it's a fun topic. I truly, immensely, from the bottom of my core, love it, and that's dream boards, vision boards. I started doing them a while back just as a fun way. I don't know. I saw it on the social medias somewhere that people did them, had parties for them and all that. So I convinced the girls.
I thought you forgot my name.
I was gonna say the kids, but really I don't think Devin's ever joined us, right?
No, it's not his thing.
So mostly just the girls, getting them to do this. So when was the first dream board you ever made?
1975.
She's gonna play my part today of saying random things.
I don't know. When was it? 2015?
So maybe
no,
it was after you graduated. Yeah.
2018.
This is after you moved in, after you graduated.
Sometime before 2020.
Okay. And tell them what a dream board is to you, or a vision board, because someone listening might be like, I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
A dream board is essentially a board that has all your dreams on it.
You did such a good job of defining that.
Thank you. Yeah.
You want me to take that one then?
Yes. I got nervous.
Don't get nervous.
Okay.
A dream board is it's one of those things. If you call it a dream board, to me and my mindset, it's more, sometimes could be considered unrealistic. Things that you're hoping for, that you want to become in your future, those type dreams. Whereas to me, if we call it a vision board or goal setting, it's these things that are a little more obtainable, things that you can actually accomplish within a shorter period of time. Shorter period of time being within a year or a couple of years.
Yeah.
So in 2017, we got together and we made a dream board.
Yes, we did.
So when I first told you about, just for any moms out there that are listening that are like, ooh, I'm going to get my kids on board for that. When I first told you about it, were you excited about it, or were you like, oh my gosh?
I think I was excited about it, actually.
Yeah.
I'm quite the dreamer myself, so I was down for it.
Okay. And I think Susan made one with us, right? And little Ryleigh. Did she make one?
I don't think Ryleigh
I don't think she was making it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we all just sat together in the living room, and it was I remember it being a cold, wet day outside.
Dang, you remember the weather? I can barely remember what I ate yesterday.
We did it, I think it was during that time where it was like we are in currently, that time between Christmas and New Year's. And so it's just that, things just seem so unsettled during that time. And for me, it feels like I'm gaining control when I can take that time period and plan out my entire life right then in that week.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you said it did excite you. What do you love about it? Why did it excite you?
It excited me before I had word vomit. It excited me because I was I like dream boards because I'm able to visually see all of the dreams that I have in my mind. And it excited me because I was like, wow, now I can actually see what I'm going to put into fruition.
Nice. So what kind of stuff did you have on your dream board?
I had stuff like play more music. I had Hillsong was one of my number one things on there because I wanted to go to the college. And then I also had like scripture because I struggle a lot with like doubt and insecurities and stuff like that. So I had like this little section that said something along the lines of like,
Did it say like not today, Satan? Or was that just one of the things on there?
yeah, something on there, but it was like when in doubt,
Oh, yeah, I did know that.
cut Satan out or something. I don't know. It was something cheesy like that. Yeah, so I had that on there too. I think those were art was another one of my things that I wanted to do. I kind of was in a season of life where it was like, kind of like how I always am. Everything's up in the air, so I was like, let me just put it all on here. Maybe one of them will come true.
Well, and she's one of those that's like super multi-talented. So she has all these different things that she's interested in. And so trying to hone in on what it is you want to do. So, I mean, I think that's okay. But I started to laugh on the inside when you said that because I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the exact same season you're in right now. It's trying to, except you added in book writing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that would be on my new dream board.
Is that you're going to write a book?
Yeah.
Nice. So do you feel like it actually helps? Like having all these things, these thoughts, these dreams, visions, goals that you have for your life, putting them on a board, does that actually help you stay focused on your goals?
Yes, I think it helps me stay focused because, like I said earlier, I'm able to see it. And I'm a very visual person, so if I'm like seeing it every day on my wall in my room, then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do today. It helps me focus a lot more because I'm so sometimes just like unfocused or so impulsive that I just create these things in my mind that I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna do that today because it sounds like a good idea. But in reality, like when I'm able to just sit there and think and process while I'm creating a dream board, it helps me to narrow down my, like, what is it called? Niche?
Oh, yeah.
Or
interest,
like
yeah. Whatever
yeah,
you're interested in.
my interests. And that way I'm able to get a more clear idea of what I actually want to do in that time span versus my impulsive nature of like, oh, today I'm gonna decide that I want to be a professional horseback rider or something wild like that because that's what I do. So it helps me to stay on track, yes, in a long, very word salad way of saying that.
That's a weird way to say what you said about what you said. It was a word salad thing. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
So how long do you typically plan your dream boards for? I'm asking you questions like you are the professional.
I know.
Dream board.
I created the dream board and it's how it's supposed to lay out. Well, when I've done it, it's always been like a year, but I had the original dream board that I created in 75 for like a couple of years. So
I'm still going off of my dream board from 1975, aka 2017.
Yeah.
But mine were longer goals. Like I had things put in place. Well, there were a couple that were short, but it was during that time period of my life, I was searching on what's next, God, and then took those things that he was really placing on my heart and put that on my dream board. So I'm still living on that. But we are going to be making new dream boards for this new year. The girls were doing this, maybe was that a couple months ago. They started the process already, but
Yeah.
I was too busy. I don't know what I was doing, why I didn't.
I don't know. You're busy doing something.
I was sitting with y'all, but I just didn't. I was playing with the cat. I don't know. But I haven't started mine yet, so I'm thinking about taking like what I had because I haven't accomplished all those goals, but I'm like midway in. So it's not like you just throw out all of like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore and switch because it's a new year. So taking that and tweaking it. So you said yours a year, couple years. We haven't really been living long enough to
What do you mean living long enough?
Well, it's not like we keep accomplishing our goals, and we haven't been doing this long enough, I guess is the correct say. We haven't been doing this long enough to have just knocked off all these goals and needed to make a whole new board, because some of them were long-term goals and some of them were more short-term goals. Like I know on my old one, I wanted abs by the time we went to Hawaii. So we've already gone to Hawaii and I did not hit that mark. I also wanted to learn Spanish on that one. So that's like an ongoing on my, was that on your dream board? Learning Spanish?
It was not on my dream board, but I did learn Spanish for 3 months.
Very good. Thank you. Give you a little clap for that. But statistics do show that when we take time, there's just like different levels of how you can determine if someone is going to actually meet these goals that they have for themselves or these plans that they make for themselves. And one thing is just saying them out loud. It just takes what's going on in your head and you're just like, whoop. If you're listening on the podcast, you don't know what I just did with my hands. You have to go watch.
It reminds me of that little old stick thing as a kid where you would turn it and it'd be like, and then you would turn it again and it'd be like, you know what I'm talking about?
I do, like dollar store toys.
Yeah.
But I'm just, in me and the way my head works is like you have this little bar and it raises just enough. Like I see like a little thermometer thing just raising up whoop, to this level right here. Just from saying it out loud. It's so powerful. But then you take that to the next level and you write it down, then whoop, it's going even higher.
I know Dad is in the other room laughing right now.
Oh, he's like, oh man,
Yeah.
they're crazy. But then take it even another level and have it, make a creation. When you're making the dream board, it's like you have this buy-in, and for some reason, it's not that the board is magic, but because you've, oh gosh, were you fixing to break out in song?
No.
No, it's not, the board isn't magic, the process isn't magic, but for some reason when you go through that process, things happen. You start to see results in these areas. And so it's powerful in that aspect of it. And then, since this is a fun Friday in our episodes, we like to focus on things that you can do with your family to have fun, laugh, create memories. This is just another one of those ways that you can do that. You can bring the family in on board and you can make this together, create these memories together. You get to see what are some things, points of interest or goals that your kids have. A fun way to get them even thinking about goals, because let's be real, not a lot of people get excited about thinking about goals. Do you?
No, not really. I just like to go with the flow. I mean, it helps. Thinking of goals helps, but it makes me feel guilty that I don't have my life together.
I keep telling her that she's only 22. Are you 23?
No, wow. I'm 22.
When it gets this time of year, all of our kids' birthdays are February and March. So it's, once it gets this time of year, I start mentally preparing that they're a year older, and then I get all lost in the ages because they're so back to back. So Devin, you're turning 23, Devin's turning 22, and little Ryleigh turning 19. Okay. Now that we got that squared away for anyone.
Now you know how old we all are.
Now that I know. So let me ask, do you get discouraged, or does it matter, like throughout your year? You have your dream board, you're looking at it, you're planning, you're preparing for the things that you have on there. If your plans change, what does that do to you? Like, does it cause any kind of like mental anxiety over it, or it's just like, let's change it out, doesn't matter?
Hey, we'll be back momentarily. Check out this announcement.
Hey B-Fam, if you're looking for some fun, out-of-the-box date night ideas, you've got to check out the Adventure Challenge. They have books for couples, family, friends, and even solo adventures. So get one for you and your family, or they make a great gift idea.
Yeah, we really enjoy their products and just all the out-of-the-box things, so we decided to become affiliates with them. Just to share their products with you, we have an affiliate link that you can use below. So at checkout, use the promo code Enjoy the Moment for 10% off of your total purchase. This is just another way for you to be able to enjoy the moment. So back to our episode.
Well, I haven't actually ever thought about that. If my plans change, then I guess I'll just go with the motions. Change something on my board. I'm trying to stick with, just because of my personality, I try to stick with what's on the board so I can accomplish that, because I know deep down inside, like, that's really what I want to do, because I've taken the time to analyze it. It's not just a random goal or anything like that. Like, once I think about it, then I'll be clear-headed enough to put it on the board, because I also think a lot deeply. That didn't make sense. Anyways, I think deeply. So the things that I put on my dream board are not insignificant. So I try to stick with that. And if something along the way does change, and then I feel in my heart like, oh, well, I'm going a different direction now, then I guess, yeah, I would just change it.
But I guess by the time you get to another dream board, if that's still important to you, then you could add it on there. If it's not important to you, keep with your original plans.
Yeah, exactly.
So has there been anything on your board that you have accomplished because you had it on there?
Yes, on my last board from way back in the day, I had music on there, and this year I've really hit heavy with the music and just trying to be more creative in that area. And
she has a few songs on Spotify, and that's a pretty big deal.
Shameless plug.
So, yeah.
So I've been more, I guess, just active in that area, which is what I had set out to do anyways. And then also I had on there Hillsong College, which I did.
Which Hillsong is a worship college in Australia, and that was her long-term goal. But then with the state of the universe right now,
with the vid,
I don't know if we say the words, if it puts some sort of censorship on us. But with the way things are, you were doing it online. Mm-hmm. And so now you're kind of in limbo, just waiting to see what happens with that. So yeah, that's two really huge goals there.
Yeah, those were pretty much my only two huge goals.
And another thing I remember you had on there, and just so any of you that are listening, because I think it can be something that's exciting, but it also can be discouraging when you create something like this and maybe you don't hit that mark. It's like making those New Year's resolutions and you don't hit it. I know on there you had art, because you're also a very talented artist. And at that point, I don't think you really knew, you talked about selling art and doing these different things, but you went into pursuing it, not necessarily, on a huge role, but you were doing a lot of art during that time, and you learned in that process that you didn't want to do art for your job, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I think we forget those things, but it was a passion of yours. You're talented at it. You started to move forward in that for a career path, but then you decided that once you start doing it as a job, it takes away, right, from the...
Yeah, it's not as fun, which is what I've been learning lately anyways. So I guess that's still something to be learned.
So yeah, it's not a lost cause. Whatever you put on there and that you're pursuing it, even if, okay, by next year, this isn't something that you want to pursue anymore, you learn in the process, or maybe that thing led you to another thing. And again, we're talking on our kids are in their young adult stage, so they're really trying to figure out what's next.
We're grasping at any straw.
Trying to figure out what is their next thing, and they get really discouraged when that thing is not working out for them as fast, or however they perfecting it the way that they hope to. But we're trying to teach them that it's not about getting to this destination, but that it is about the journey and enjoying that process and figuring out, is this what you want to do? And it's okay if the answer in the end is no, I don't want to do that anymore, or I don't want to do it in that way. And you figure that out. It's not a failure, it's a learning experience into something else. Would you agree?
That is very true.
Give myself a little
Very true. Wow, pat on the back.
applaud for that. And so then the last part, I just want us to tell them about how to make one, because you're like, oh, this sounds fun. I want to do this with my family. And it is a perfect time of year, but you don't have to just do it at the beginning of the year. This is something that you can do I think we started ours in October this year, just as something fun to do for a weekend. But it's very simple, and it can be as simple or magnificent as you expect. But some key things that I like to have on hand when we're making a dream board is I like the actual foam boards. Do you?
Oh, yeah. I like the foam boards
Do you
too.
prefer that?
Mm-hmm.
So when we went to go do our boards in October, the Dollar Tree was... Dollar Tree? Like I'm all mad at the Dollar Tree.
She's really mad about that.
They were all out of foam boards, so we just went with what they had. So you can use like a squishy foam board, or you can use a poster board. You can even just use a piece of printer paper, construction paper. It doesn't have to be a certain type, but for us, we like the bigger ones and the squishy ones, so that way it holds up better. You can hang it up easier and stuff like that. Other key thing is magazines. Like I'll usually have family members that get subscriptions to their house, and so they know, just because all my years of teaching, when they're done with all their magazines, they call me up and I gather them. So I usually have a stack of magazines, and we use that just for... What do you use the magazines for? Like when you're making yours?
Oh, for the...
What do you look for when you're looking through the magazines?
I just look for like words that I can put on there, or maybe pictures that are inspiring. Like if I'm wanting to pursue something with music or do more shows or something like that, and I see a picture of someone playing a guitar on stage, then I may cut that out and put that on my dream board, because that's what my goal, that's what my vision is for the next year. So just stuff like that, or like if you see an inspiring word like growth or thrive or whatever, like then you can cut that out and put that on your dream board as well, because that might be something that you also want to do that year. So just things like that, little inspirations, stuff like that.
Yeah, usually like just something, a visual representation of whatever's that dream. So it's not that it's the exact thing. Maybe there's a trip you want to take, and so you find a picture of that. I know for like Randall and I, when we were... It was weird saying Randall and I with it being your dad, but when we were planning our trip to Hawaii, like we found a picture that represented that and had that as a visual for us, that's what we're working for all year, because these goals are all fun and fine and dandy, but there's some sacrifices that usually have to take place in your time or your money or your energy, going out with friends or whatever. So when you're sacrificing these things, to have that visual like staring you in the face of like, this is why I'm doing this. And then some of them can even be fun. Like when I was talking to her earlier about our dream board, she's like, oh yeah, you cut out that baby that looked like an old woman. And it's the weirdest thing to have on a dream board, but for me, what it was representing, because one of the things that's my plan is to take like what we used to do for early childhood and teaching kids, like old school stuff, and then intertwining that with nowadays and technology and how we do things. So when I saw this little baby dressed up like an old woman, little cane, and she had like a little curly gray hair and everything, it to me, that stuck out on the page, and it reminded me of what it is that I have as a plan, as a goal for my life. So it doesn't even have to be like exactly, it's just something that triggers that memory for you. Some other things to have on hand is glue and scissors. You might want, if you're getting like super crafty, you might have like some sort of Cricut type thing, or able to cut out shapes. We've used that, like things from scrapbooking paper that we've collected, and just have like little scraps, and we'll use that to back some of the pictures on there. Anything else you're thinking of?
I like the push pins because you can, like, if you don't want to glue it on there, you can just, like, push pin it on there or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Most of the stuff I think we just get at the Dollar Tree or the dollar store,
Yeah.
whatever it is that you shop at, that you can get stuff really cheap, and you can get in bulk, like quotes and stuff from there as well.
Yeah.
I've got those little stick on the windows, transparent type things. We've got that and put that on there because I'm not an artsy person, so I'd rather have it created. I know sometimes if we can't find what we're looking for, we just print it off too.
Oh, yeah.
I know you did a lot of that, right? Just
Yeah.
looking for it. So I know when we were starting the blog back then, that was one of the things on my dream board, and I couldn't find exactly the image that I was looking for in the magazine for a blog, and so I just went online and Googled it and then printed out something that like caught that remembrance for me. So any other things that you...
I think you pretty much nailed the... nailed the hammer. What is that saying?
The nail on the head. Hit the nail on the head.
Hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, and you can make it whatever you want to make it. It could be photos of your family, Post-it notes. I'm just looking at things in the room right now. Like things that you already have on hand. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be elaborate. You don't have to spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
It's more about the representation on the board and the time that you're spending with your family. And if, say, your family doesn't want to do it with you, you call your girlfriends over and you have them come over. One of my fitness coach, I saw that she just had a vision board night with her people in her area, her friends, that's her people, her friends in her area, and they all got together and made the boards. We've done it as a ladies group in the church before, and we've all made vision boards. So it's just the fun process that you're going through and enjoying that time with the people that you're with. So even if you don't have anybody else to do it with and you just take some time and you make one for yourself, it's just something to put your visions and your dreams into action. Yes. So that's some fun stuff.
Yes, go make a dream board.
Go make a dream board. Get your family together. And I think Randall's going to be okay with us this episode. He may let me come back again next time. He won't fire me. Just so you know, and I can say this because he's not standing here, he's the one that keeps us on track and organized when we make podcasts. He keeps what our bullet points are. And I just usually insert all the fun stuff that I want to talk about. So having to be on the reverse role of that and keeping us in line today.
You've done very well.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
But he might just edit this right out. So we'll see. All right, guys. Until next time, enjoy your blended family. Later.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for joining us for another fun Friday here at Enjoying Your Blended Family. All the links we talked about today are in the show notes. And if you enjoyed listening, be sure to subscribe because it's free and it lets you know when we have another episode out for you to listen to.
And if you don't mind helping us out so we can start reaching more people, leave us a rating and review. You never know when we'll give you a shout out. Until next time, have fun being intentional and remember to enjoy the moment.